Hello and welcome ATF team member. We're really excited to have you join us with the Academy to Function and our functional fitness prescription programming. We have a brief tutorial here, and what we'd like to do is just show you exactly how it is you might utilize your functional fitness prescriptions, or what we call our FFPs. And we also want to spend just a little bit of time to educate you about what you might expect in working with the Academy to Function and what it is that our target goals are for weeks 1 through 4. And then from here on out, as you receive your emails, you'll get a update that talks about each overview and what our goals are for each individual cycle that we progress through for the Academy to Function and your FFPs. So if you take a look at the screen in front of you here, you notice that you can access again through your mobile devices and or your email. If for any reason you're not able to see these pictures on your email, there is a function that allows you to download or enable those pictures. So if we look at the left hand side of our screen here, we're looking at what you should be seeing in your email. We always start off with just a brief overview that talks about what it is that we're doing that day. It always concludes with a ATF breakout video which explains exactly in a narrative what our goals are for that particular FFP. Some folks really like this because they like the explanation from us, and it's a little more descriptive than just the narrative or just the written version here up above. But we provide both for you, and so whatever is most convenient. As we're introducing you to your FFP, we do have some brief instructions here. It talks about how to utilize the hyperlinks and how it is that we utilize the charts and or the tables here for conducting and following your FFP. We do want to note that there's a few acronyms that you want to pay attention to. Stick rolling is designated by an SR. You see that right here. The ball rolling is a BR, which you can find here. And then finally, body weight, or BW. You find those here. As we progress through multiple weeks and multiple cycles, you'll notice that we will add a few more acronyms. And I know sometimes we can get lost in all those letters. And so we'll try to do our best to educate you as our ATF team member on how it is that, or what it is that each of those acronyms mean. So what we know is that we have categorized you or put you into a specific category of dysfunction. In this case, we're looking at an L1, an L2, and a C1. So what does that mean? Well, we know that our lower half, we have some serious mobility issues. We might have seen a foot turn out. We might have seen a knee buckler come in. That would designate the L1 and L2 categories. And with the C1, what we know is we really probably lacked a lot of depth on the squat, or we may have had a lot of forward lean or lumbar arch. And so we know in your particular case we had a lot of forward lean. This is usually denoted with lower extremity immobility and also little issues with core strength. So that's really where our focus is going to be when we first start. So the way we utilize the FFP is, you'll note that we have the exercise over here, and each one of these is hyperlinked with our ATF minutes, and it's about roughly 1 minute of a description of each particular exercise, and there's a video demonstration for each one of those. However, we want you to note that this is really important, that you pay attention to the sets, reps, rest, and specific notes. Each one of those videos does not go into these any specifically. However, it really allows us to adapt and modify each functional fitness prescription by just modifying the table, and we can keep our videos static. So I want to note for this week, what you'll note is it's very simple. We're focusing on just one set. We're going to do each exercise one time for 30 seconds. And in this case, we can move from exercise to exercise. We're not looking for a whole lot of rest in between. We would like each one of these to be very specific. We want you to do them well, but we want you to be able to complete the entire list of exercises in 15 minutes or less. You'll also note here that we also have to say what days you should be doing this. So we're looking at the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and possibly even the 7th day, which is an optional day that you do these. And then down here we have very similar exercises with just minor variations. You'll notice we make a transition where we're doing quite a bit of stick rolling here, and we'll make a transition over to ball rolling. However, in your particular circumstance, I want to note that we have substituted the ball rolling and instead would like you to use a foam roller instead, because this will allow you a lot more stability. Once we progress and you find that you're getting more stability and you feel like you have that balance, we may progress to a ball at that point in time. We recommend utilizing an inflatable medicine ball somewhere around 4 kilograms might be most appropriate. On the notes for this week, again, note that there's certain things here. We know that we're going to have a trigger point in that lateral calf. We really want you to focus on it. We're rolling each segment for roughly 30 seconds rather. But when you find that really tender point, try to hold on there, and sometimes we can actually get that trigger point release. So we're going to try to hold it on that specific spot for about 15 seconds if that's possible. On the lateral hip, we also know we have a right foot flare, and we really want to focus on the right side of that lateral hip. We also know that this was extremely challenging because of the reclined position, and the foam roller was really difficult to achieve this. So go ahead and utilize your recliner or that zero gravity chair, and then just put a tennis ball or maybe even one of those soft T-balls right on that backside lateral hip where you find that trigger point. And again, remember, that kind of makes you sweat, or there's even a little bit of a wincing discomfort with it, and that usually denotes that trigger point again. As we stretch the calf, again, we're going to internally rotate here. We're trying to focus on getting that lateral gastrocnemius, and that's what's typically fairly tight on anybody with that foot flare or that duck foot that comes out. So as I look at this, what is my primary goal going to be? Really trying to focus on getting those restricted tissues. We want them to be supple. We want them to be pliable, so that when we stretch and lengthen, that we actually can get that motion. We want to do that, and this is really just it's a good warm up, and it just makes that tissue much more pliable to our stretches and our movements. And then the other thing it does is it increases circulatory and lymphatic flow, which is good stuff in and garbage out, which is what we need continually as we build up and break down the different tissues in the body in a very positive way. Again, the other thing I want to point out is don't forget to watch these videos, because you'll get a much more specific depiction. On the right hand side of the screen, you're going to note that we have of what your smartphone might look like if you have this function. And again, it's really pretty easy. You get the scroll down bar here, and you're going to have the same functions, and you can see your directions here in the table, and then again we can click any one of our hyperlinks to watch the ATF minutes. Each one of those is in YouTube. Again, we utilize that function. It's free. It's usable and accessible by anybody that has access to the web or a cellular device. So we try to use things that are really practical and convenient for each one of our ATF team members. So we will leave you at this time. We're really excited to have you on board. We want to emphasize that if you ever have any questions, you can reach us at the academy to function@gmail.com. Or again, since we've been working with you personally, you can certainly contact me via the telephone number that was provided, or through the work directory. So thank you again for joining us, and let us know how things go, and we'll adapt and modify as needed. So welcome aboard.